What's going on, everyone? It's another beautiful day here in the garage. I know I left off last time talking about putting a rugged race radios communications system into the car, and I changed my mind. Actually, we upgraded our own vehicle again. So we're gonna ditch the factory radius rods since we've already ditched all the suspension components and upgraded all that to the Cognito OEM replacement kit. Why should we stop there? You know, let's just keep going. So you can see I already removed the factory radius rods. And these are pretty heavy duty, guys. These are really heavy duty. In fact, they're so heavy duty that I would be willing to bet that these weigh over 20 pounds maybe. These are pretty heavy, and they're solid. But there's a couple reasons why I want to go ahead and change these out. And one of those reasons mainly being, if you can see here, this weld and how they groove the tube here. You can see the weld in there. This is DOM tubing. This is good, right? And the welding on this is legit. There's nothing wrong with it. The problem that I have with it is this is a cast piece. And cast pieces are, they're strong, you know, but it's called dissimilar metal welding, and I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, there's a reason why your OEM manufacturers like Ford, Chevy, GM, when they do a cast part, they're not welded on. So that's dissimilar metal welding. You guys can check that out if you want and do your own research on that. But you know, I have a background in welding and fabrication, and you know, we stay away from this stuff. So even though this is a heavy duty part, I don't like this. So we're gonna do away with that. We're also gonna do away with the upper. So it's the same thing, it's a cast. Cast parts are traditionally softer than steel. This is where all your uniballs or your rod end bearings are in these. So this is a soft metal, this is a harder metal. Again, it's welded, it's dissimilar metal welding. So we're gonna do away with that, we're gonna upgrade it. Let's check it out. I got the driver's side lower radius rod on, and it's always a pain in the butt to get the nut.
That's what she said.
Back in on the back side of there because the rear diff's in the way. You can't even get your fingers in there, and if you drop the nut, you've got to fish it out from underneath the diff, and it sucks. It's not hard to do this, but there's some tricks, and here's one of them. So I take the nut, it has the built-in washer on it, on the shoulder, place it in the wrench, take any kind of tape, this is just painter's tape, and I put it over the back side of the wrench like that, and I make sure I grab the sides of it, I push it on, that way the nut can't fall out. Make sure your ratchet is ready to go. And this is where it gets to be a little tricky fishing the wrench back in. I do have an access slot right here for your hand. I think I got it. And you can control the angle of the bolt by pulling up or down on it to line up. That's that. So, you know, again, it's not hard. It's very simple, nut, bolt, but they've made the access kind of crappy. So remember that when you're putting on your rear radius rods. A little bit of tape. Put the nut in there. Just make sure it's locked onto the tape. And you can get in there and use your ratchet, and it'll engage. So, quick tip. So I'm gonna get back to putting this back together. Let's just do it right now.
This is where you make sure this misalignment is towards the front of the diff.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
On the top radius rod, you have a misalignment spacer that needs to be pointed forward or up against the chassis side, it has the taller misalignment spacer, basically. And the reason it's like that, it's to offset, so when you're cycling the suspension, that the radius rods aren't banging into the chassis, okay? So remember when you do that on that install. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this up and move on to the front steering. Okay, so it's gonna take a T50, right there, put it in. Reminder, there is a Allen head lock on there. Let's face that forward so we have access to it. Lock that into position. Now remember, we're still gonna have to put the boot on after the fact. So it is what it is. And we'll do that before we actually put the tie rod on. Okay, so we're onto the steering on this one, right? We're gonna replace the factory tie rod, which sucks. Sorry, it does. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not the easiest thing to remove. It's not difficult, it's just not easy. And you're gonna get a little dirty, and it is what it is. So first thing you do is you remove the boot. You cut the zip tie off. If you have a set of flush cuts, those work best, so you don't damage the boot. You can buy these at any hardware store. They're like 10 bucks. They work great. It's also when you're cutting your zip ties, you don't cut your hands open when you just use a regular set of cutters. It always leaves a lip and you always cut yourself. This cuts it flush. 10 bucks. Save yourself a bunch of headaches. Anyways, never take the tie rod end off the spindle first. You can break it loose and run the nut down, but don't take it off. So what I use is a standard pipe wrench. Most of you have them at home. Pipe wrench. It's adjustable, grabs it, works great. Anyways, it's on there pretty snug. So you get it on there, I use my foot and I push it and it breaks. So then we just continue taking it apart. And you only need a little bit of turning at a time on it. But this ensures that you can't really get a crescent wrench in there. And we're just spinning it off. So what I did on the driver's side is I turned the wheel to the passenger side to allow me access to even get a tool in here. And I'm not gonna move it back until I have the next one installed. All right. Smack my head. So check this out. This is your factory tie rod. Right? Another cast piece, like your knuckle of your tie rod. You got your joint in here, pressed into a cast piece. You can see the grinding marks. Cast piece are okay for what they are. It's a soft piece, right? If you take a big hit, this is gonna bend, and this is gonna bend. It's two-piece construction. This is where you adjust your toe in. This is the boot. This is what you guys normally see. What you don't see is this. Let's wipe this off. So you guys get a good look at this. Everyone's upgrading their wheels and tires. Now they come factory with 32s. It's a lot of load, a lot of leverage. See that? That is probably this diameter right here. I don't know, 3/8, 7/16, 3/8. It's minimal. So you see this, beefy. Yeah, this is okay. What you don't see is this. Look how tiny that is. It just tapers down to nothing. So we're gonna ditch that because that's just lame. There are some directions on the tie rods off of ZRP's website. You can download them as well. It's not difficult. You just have to spin it off. You have to break it loose and take it off. And show you what we're gonna put on. We're gonna go to this rod end, one-piece construction. Your adjustability is off your rod ends, right? And your jam nuts, your lock nuts. This is going to be the new clevis versus like I guess you could call that like a ball joint that came off, right? I'm gonna put this on. It's the clevis. Stainless steel construction. Similar to what you'd see on your truck. So we're gonna go from this, that requires maintenance, grease, and this tiny little, all this leverage is going to that. That's insane. We're gonna go to this. It's pretty nice. See how that works? And then on the other end of the tie rod, it's gonna come with a 12-point hardware. So it's gonna match up with the hardware we have on the Cognito kit for the upper and lower. So I got the ZRP tie rod on. You can see all the 12-point hardware, the new sleeve, the tie rod, the boot is on. I slipped it over. And you can see the clevis now. So once we get everything tight on that, which it is right now, I'm gonna go ahead and slide the boot back over it and re-secure it with a zip tie and start on the other side. So basically what we've done is we've eliminated the weak point on the factory system, which was right here. Refer back to it on the actual tie rod, just right there. That's no longer needed. And we also don't need to maintenance this with grease because we are now on a rod end. Steering tie rods are in. I can tell you firsthand myself, I've always not wanted to put in the steering tie rods because it's a little more involved and you're a little worried about maybe breaking something. But if you take your time and you follow the directions, which you can download at ZRP, they have a great download sheet for instruction videos. You can check them out there, or you can watch this video and it's going to give you some helpful hints. We have a lot of other YouTube videos you can watch if you're intimidated by the install. Don't be. Watch the YouTube videos. That's why we have a channel, help you out. All in all, we've done a lot today. A lot of cool upgrades for this 2020 Turbo S. We're not done yet. We've got a long way to go still. But I hope you guys are enjoying this. We got a lot accomplished today. And some of you are going to ask, do we necessarily need to, I'll lean on this so it doesn't fall down. Do we need to change this stuff out? No, you don't necessarily need to change this stuff out. But there's a lot of benefits to it. We got away from a couple things. We got away from dissimilar metal welding on the rear radius rods, and they were 3 parts to that single radius rod. Now we have a billet machine, 1-piece radius rod that's made in the USA. We got away from the tie rods that have 1, 2, 3 parts, and one needs to be service and maintenance because of the grease in there. And you saw how thin it is at the very end contact point and all that leverage. And we all upgrade our wheels and tires. It's just, that's what we do. We lightened it all up too. The aftermarket stuff is stronger and it's lighter compared to the factory stuff on the Polaris in particular. And the Polaris stuff's pretty beefy, you know? That's a decision you guys have to make. That's something you want to do. Another cool thing that not a lot of us think about when we upgrade to an aftermarket part like a radius rod or a steering tie rod is we now have a spare to put in our car. I have 2 spare tie rods. I've got a spare set of radius rods if I need them, or if my friend needs them, or you can sell them to help pay for the parts. So there's a lot of cool things we went over today. I'm pretty pumped on how this little machine's turning out. I can't wait to get out there and use it. This is a pretty cool little car for right now being built, in my opinion, and I'm pretty excited about showcasing this stuff to you guys. And remember, you can get everything that we're doing to this particular vehicle on the website at utvsource.com. So if you're bored, you're sitting at home, you're watching the YouTube right now, go check out the website. It's pretty badass. A lot of hard work into that. Got a lot in store for this particular build still. I don't know if we should be doing the rugged race radios or if we should jump right into the power products, right? Do you guys want me to start putting on all the agency stuff that you see behind me? I haven't even opened the box. Should we put this on next? We've got a bunch of rugged race radios to put on. You guys want me to go on that next? Put in the comments, let us know. We're watching it. So anyways, guys, I hope everyone's staying safe, doing well. I hope you're enjoying these videos. I hope you go out and enjoy putting your car together. If you aren't putting your car together, go prep your car. Go have some fun doing that. Why not, right? But anyways, continue to follow us at UTV Source. Follow the stories. If you're not on the newsletter or the subscribe mailer list, get on it. It's pretty cool. We do a lot of fun stuff in there. If you guys have questions, the website's dialed in. There's a contact us page. It's dialed in, and we're there answering it all the time, including myself. So if you guys have any questions, comments, put them at the bottom. You know what to do. Thanks for watching, and we'll have another one out here in a couple days. So I better start tearing some more stuff apart. See you guys soon.